Okay, thank you so much for your patience. If you're just joining us, you've got the senior girls taking on the St. Stephen Spartans. Senior girls closing out their season. They've had a real whirlwind here in the final week. This is their third game in 3 nights, but holding their own early against the Spartans in this first set. We're all tied up 2-2. As Maddie Chisholm goes for the set. There's Natalie Bernard pushing the ball over. Fielded by the Spartans. Third hit, but they won't get one. Referee John Hamilton making the call of a double touch. And Lakers have the lead here in the very early going of the first set. It is Natalie Bernard back to serve. Ball is up. It's fielded by the Spartans out of bounds. So Lakers with a 2-point lead now. Bernard back for a second serve. Out on the field, it is Natalie Bernard in the server's position. Ava Grieve kind of controlling the back end. Maddie Chisholm is going to move into the setter's position. Lauren Haley, Lauren Peasy, and Riley DeMerchant round out the starting 6. Up by Ava Grieve. Lauren Haley sends it over from the back row. That's mishandled by the Spartans. And Lakers up 5-2. As we mentioned, the girls had a couple games canceled last week, and as a result, this is their third game in 3 nights. Spoke to some of the girls. I know there's definitely some fatigue, but out to a good start. Service from Bernard again. Put up by the Spartans. There's a big hit to the back row. Lakers let that go. Wise play. Lakers have opened up a 4-point lead now. Here's Bernard. Sends it over. That is fielded by Scullion. Nope, sorry, sent over by Scullion. We're just getting the numbers now. Big thanks to our tech crew here. Hannah Finney, Logan Wall, and Austin Jameson up here in the skybox. We are also supported tonight by Tiana Arnold, keeping score downstairs. Okay, thanks for staying with us. There's minor official Alice Vautour, making sure both benches see the scoreboard. Spartans currently down by 1. There's the service from Robinson. Maddie Chisholm puts it up. Ava Grieve from the back row with a nice send. Kept alive by Scullion. Nodin over to the Spartans. That was sent by Dickinson. Here's Maddie Chisholm again. Lauren Peasy with a nice cross-court hit. Good dig by Dickinson. Dickinson again. That gets by Riley DeMerchant, but the Lakers are there. Peasy to Chisholm. And Ava Grieve coming from the back row, sending it far. Nice dive by, I believe that's Nodine, keeping it alive. So after a good extended rally, Lakers do come away with a point. 4-7 is their lead. Here's Lauren Peasy now. Nice service from Peasy. Spartans have to dive in the back row to get it. Can't quite get hands under it. And so Peasy gets another shot. Lakers up by 4 here in the early going of this first set. Good service from Peasy, fielded again by the Spartans. There's Nodine over to Dickinson, who keeps it alive. Lauren Haley to Maddie Chisholm. Ooh. Good play at the net front there. That's B. Harris wearing number 6 for the visitors. Able to push that over. Lakers also guilty of a net touch. And the Spartans get set to serve. Here's Nodine. Or Nodin. Oh, Lakers thought that was going out. It definitely had a lot of power, but dropped at just the right time. As Coach Mike Fletcher would say, that had a good amount of topspin on that serve. Coach Mike Fletcher with the middle school boys in their away game tonight. We wish them the best of luck. Here's Nodine. That's fielded by Chisholm directly over. Nodine again with a nice hit from Harris. She picks her spot in the back row and punches it down. Here's Nodine again, looking to tie things up. Nice little run for the Spartans. Good service, and Lakers will let that one go. This time it's on the opposite side of the red line. So the Lakers will get the ball. Tough to make those calls. It's Lauren Haley getting some support from the stands. Got a decent crowd here tonight in the David Mellon Gymnasium. One of our final home games of the season. Nice work up front by Riley DeMerchant. The rookie grade 9 student getting some height out there and making sure that the ball falls on the other side of the net. Service from Haley again. Over to Scullion. Back to Scullion for a long hit. That's out of bounds. Had a pretty big arc on that one. So Lakers up by 4. It was back and forth to start this first set, but Lakers have more or less controlled things. Here's Nodine. That's punched over by Dickinson, but Chisholm is there. Ava Grieve with the third hit, kept alive by Scullion. At the net front, sent over. Nice dig by Peasy, keeping that alive. Big hit from Ava Grieve. That falls just out of bounds. Lucky for the Spartans, because there was no one in the area. But they get the point, and so at 8-11, her team down by 3. It is Harris back to serve. She's shown some power from the front and has a nice serve from the back as well. Haley Messer, gets that over to Maddie Chisholm, setting up Riley DeMerchant. Here it comes again. There's Peasy looking for Chisholm. Riley DeMerchant going for the tip this time, but we've got a net front touch on the defense, so DeMerchant's hit was good, and they got the point as well. 12-8 is our score right now. Here's Riley DeMerchant sending it over. Fielded by Scullion. Over to Nodine. Back to Scullion, but can't quite get that over the net. Lakers opening up what I think is their biggest, I'll say this is their biggest lead of the night so far. 5-point spread. Riley DeMerchant looks to build on that. Scullion up front to Nodine. There's a hit from Heartland off the bench. Riley DeMerchant, check that. That's Natalie Bernard, who is rotated back in after Haley Messer, worked her magic in the back row. Here's Riley DeMerchant with a hit. That catches the top of the net and falls short. So Lakers doing well here, showing no signs of fatigue in their third game in 3 nights. As they've got a solid lead here, 5 points. Here's Dickinson looking to break into that. That service had a lot of speed, a lot of power, but just didn't quite have that angle right as that goes out of bounds. And Ava Grieve goes back to serve, capable of some pretty powerful hits herself. We'll see where this one goes. 15-9 is your score in favor of the home side. Fielded out of bounds by the Spartans. As Ava Grieve will get another shot. Here's Grieve. Fielded by Heartland to Nodine. There's Robinson from off the bench. Spartan coach is not afraid to shake up their lineup. Natalie Bernard sent that over, but that is fielded. Nice net front presence by Bernard to block that, but good heads-up play by Robinson. Here's Peasy looking for the back row. That's saved by the Spartans. Nodine over to Robinson again for a hit. Grieve up to Chisholm. Bernard getting some height and sending it cross court this time. Hit from the back row to Grieve. Back to Chisholm. Grieve from the back row. Nice dig by the Spartans with the direct response. Maddie Chisholm has to readjust, but the girls do get it over. Made something out of nothing there. That looked almost broken. Chisholm looking for a set. Had to dive and just barely got hands on that, redirecting back to her teammates. But they did punch that over the net, and the Lakers take the point there after that nice rally. 17-19 their lead. Ava Grieve sprinting up from the service position to make that save. That's sent over by the Lakers. Here's Robinson with the hit. Messer puts it up. Chisholm. Now over to Peasy looking for the back row. Good call by the Spartans. That falls out. And they get the ball now, down by 7. Here's Scullion, wearing number 4 for the green and white. Nice service, just gets over. Maddie Chisholm is there, though, to Ava Grieve. Lauren Peasy looks cross-court, but Dickinson keeps that alive, and that's sent over by Heartland. Here's Haley Messer from her libero position. Over to Peasy again, who hits it, but Dickinson again to Scullion. Robinson looking back row. Haley is there, Messer is there, rather. Nice hit by Ava Grieve from the back row. Spartan scrambling now. Can't quite get that third hit. And Lakers will take the point. 18-10. As Maddie Chisholm goes back to serve. Ball is up. Nice service from Chisholm. There's an ace. So that gets by the outstretched hands of the Spartans. With that, we do have a timeout. And the Spartans call a timeout there as their team is down 10 to 19. So we are joined here in the booth by Hannah Finney. Hannah, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. What about you?
I'm doing pretty well. So it's been an entertaining round of volleyball lately, especially if you're a Lakers fan. What have you seen so far tonight that you've been impressed by?
Well, I've seen that the Herbie High School have been doing better on their the first round, and that the St. Stephen has also been doing really good. And yeah, so far so good.
Yeah. The Lakers definitely, while they do hold a nice advantage on the scoreboard, 19 to 10. There have been some extended rallies back and forth that could have gone either way. This game is probably a bit closer than that 19 to 10 score suggests. All right, how do you think this one ends, Hannah? Will the Lakers be able to hang on and win this first set?
I hope so.
Yeah, me too. All right, thank you very much. We'll check back in with Hannah during the space between the sets, but for now, it is the Lakers taking the court. Maddie Chisholm back to serve. She's joined by Haley Messer, Ava Grieve, Lauren Peasy, Lauren Haley, and right up front, Natalie Bernard. Service from Chisholm is over. That's fielded directly by Heartland. Nat Bernard at the front of the net sends it over. Robinson now looking for the back row. Haley Messer saves that. Lauren Peasy looks to send one long, but that is kept alive by the Spartans. Here's Maddie Chisholm again. Natalie Bernard pushes it over the defense, but the Spartans do keep it alive. That's Ava Grieve scrambling now. Lauren Peasy gets it to Nat Bernard to send it to the back row. Set up by Nodine. Robinson looking to hit. Catches Lauren Peasy at a bad angle. So coming off the timeout, it is the Spartans striking first. So a judicious use of their timeout by the Spartans coaches. Big thanks to them for preparing their girls and bringing them down here tonight. As we've got Heartland back to serve. Lauren Peasy over to Maddie Chisholm on the third hit. Heartland again from the back row finds Nodine. Robinson with a nice cross-court hit. Ava Grieve, what a call. That looks like it was falling in. But a great eye by Grieve as that falls just out of bounds. And it is the Lakers regaining the ball and regaining that 9-point lead. Here's Natalie Bernard. Had a nice little run at the beginning of the broadcast. We'll see if she can put some more points on the board. Robinson switching up the angle. Lauren Haley, couple of hits to keep that alive. Here's Lauren Peasy setting it over, but Dickinson is there. Robinson again with a hit. Natalie Bernard from the back row. Maddie Chisholm puts it up, and Ava Grieve looks to send it back. That sails quite a bit further than she would have liked. That will be out of bounds, so the Spartans get the ball back. 12 to 20 is your score, as we've got Robinson, I believe her first services tonight. Ava Grieve fields that to Maddie Chisholm. Riley DeMerchant's going to send it over. Here's Nodine. Haley Messer from the back row again to Chisholm. Riley DeMerchant with the hit. Nodine again. Dickinson can't quite push it over the net. Lakers will get the ball back. It's Lauren Peasy, the lone grade 10 on this team. They've got an interesting makeup. Riley DeMerchant on the court, the lone grade 9 student. Lauren Peasy serving, the lone grade 10 representative. Hannah Mason, wearing number 14, is our lone grade 11. And all 6 of our other players are graduating seniors. So it'll certainly be an interesting makeup of this team next year. Here's Peasy again. Team up by 10. She needs 3 to finish this off. Looking for the first one. Not if Harris has anything to say about that with that hit. There's Lauren Haley with a nice response. Maddie Chisholm gets hands on that. Lauren Haley setting things up for Ava Grieve. That's going to fall out of bounds. I think some of the Spartans were about to play that, but saw the angle and elected to let it go. Smart play. Here's Nodine now. Her team trails. They need a big run to keep this set alive. There's Nodine. Big service. Fielded by Lauren Peasy, Maddie Chisholm, and Haley Messer from the back row will send it over. Nice work as Lakers reset. There's Dickinson looking for the back row. Maddie Chisholm over to Riley DeMerchant. Got some nice height on that hit. Nodine sends it over. Lauren Haley. Maddie Chisholm at the front of the net. And we have a over the net call. I guess Maddie went over the net. I missed that, but our Eagle Eye referees did not. It's John Hamilton up is referee 1, and I'm not sure about referee 2's name, but doing an excellent job so far. Here's Nodine. Service will catch the top of the net, and the ball comes to the Lakers. So 2 points now needed to close this out. Lauren Haley is going to look to get that started. First service is good. Served by Scullion to Nodine. Big hit by Dickinson. Girls wisely let that go out. Not sure who made that call, but it was a good one. And now set point as Lauren Haley gets ready to close things out. Or will attempt to anyways. Shouldn't jinx that. The announcer's jinx can strike at any time. Nice back set by Nodine. And there it is. Yeah, we still have a bit more volleyball to play. Nice work from Harris sending that cross court on the misdirect from the Spartan setter. So Harris, her team down by 9. She needs a big run to keep this live and unfortunately will not get the opportunity. So with a final score of 15-25, that is the end of the first set. Coaches Tracy Messer and Tammy DeMerchant for the Lakers side will congratulate their girls and look to adjust that lineup for set number 2. And coaches Katie Dow and Dave Summers of the Spartans will look to do the same. Spartans with a decent-sized bench tonight. Look like they got a full complement of 12. Lakers playing with 9. And as we mentioned, coming off their third game in 3 nights. Fatigue and lineups might be a bit of an issue, so we'll see how coaches Messer and DeMerchant work that. In the meantime, we do have Hannah Finney joining us here on the broadcast again. So, how'd you like that first set, Hannah?
I think it went really well.
Any particular moments that you thought were good moments or nice plays that you saw?
I liked when Ava Grieve hit the ball over the net, and it was a really good serve.
Yep. We've seen some great service from both sides, but especially the Lakers. I don't think they've had very many missed serves yet. I can't recall one. There have been a few on the Spartan side, not a huge amount, but serving makes a big difference, especially at the senior game. So definitely good that the Lakers are winning that battle. Anything you think they need to change going into this second set?
They probably need more hype. And probably same for the St. Stephen and get more energy.
Yeah, it has been a pretty muted affair. That's a good observation there. Thank you, Hannah. We do have some folks here in the gym tonight. You can hear a bit of a buzz from up here in the skybox. And we've heard some cheers for some individual players, but not too much in the way of big game energy. So we'll see what the girls can do to raise that energy level going into the second set. Any final thoughts, Hannah, before we get ready to check out the girls taking the court?
I think all is good for right now.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much. So we'll check back in with Hannah Finney as play stops. We will take this opportunity, however, to thank the folks who are making tonight possible. Hannah Finney joining me here in the broadcast booth from time to time. Also helping out with the broadcast tonight, our cameraman Logan Wall, console producer Austin Jameson, and keeping score downstairs, working our scoreboard remotely is Tiana Arnold. So a big thanks to all 3 of those behind-the-scene workers. Big thanks to Maddie Fraser-Cole and Alice Vautour as well, helping out with the minor officiating. These games would not be possible without our dedicated volunteers who work that minor officiating table, so a big thanks to them. They've been staples there all season long, so we thank them immensely for their service. Referees John Hamilton and the floor referee, whose name we do not have here in the booth, have also done a great job. A great job. A big thanks to them. On the court to start this second set for the Lakers. We do have some lineup changes, so starting in the far back corner, Hannah Mason, wearing number 14 for the green and gold, is joined by Alice McDonald in number 2, and Riley DeMerchant wearing number 13, currently in the server's position. Up front, starting for the Lakers, it will be Natalie Bernard wearing number 10, Maddie Chisholm wearing number 12, and Ava Grieve wearing number 5, although libero Haley Messer wearing number 1 in the black and gold jersey, stands ready to go. And yes, now that the rotation has been recorded, Messer will check in as DeMerchant grabs some rest. So the Spartans get the first serve. It will be Grant back to serve, as the Spartans have also changed up some of their lineup. We've got Grant, Robinson, Cleghorn, Klechorn. I'm not quite sure about the pronunciation there, as well as Grant. Wait a second. Are there multiple? Oh man. Okay, so I think there might be number 13. Pole might be there as well. I see 3 and I see 13. I think that's my mistake. Yep, correction. That was Pole on the service. Pole or Dole. I believe Pole, who's wearing number 13, not number 3, as erroneously reported. Either way, it is the Lakers coming away with it. That's definitely Ava Grieve with her first serve for the Lakers. They're up 1-0. That's sent over by Grant wearing number 3. Maddie Chisholm setting up. Nice height by Natalie Bernard. Hitting that over. Harris did make contact on the St. Stephen side, but it wasn't enough. As Lakers get the point there on our first big hit. Here's Ava Grieve, another serve. That's fielded by Robinson in the middle. Set up by number 5 for the Spartans. Ava Grieve gets that over to Alice McDonald. Third hit by Natalie Bernard. Looks cross court. Kept alive by Pole. That sneaks under the net, though, so Lakers claim another one. Coach Dave Summers giving some advice to his girls. There's Ava Grieve, that sneaks over the net. Those ones are tricky. Hit the net, and I think most of the Spartans kind of let that one go, but then when it did sneak over, it came down just out of reach of the defenders. There's another one. Follows that low trajectory. Girls having trouble fielding these strong serves from Grieve. Spartans yet to put a point on the board. Here's Grieve again. It's mishandled by the Spartans. As coaches Summer and Dow try to figure out what they can do in terms of in-game adjustments. Here's Grieve again. Fielded nicely by the Spartans this time. There's a good third hit from Grant to send it over. Chisholm setting up Hannah Mason with a big hit. That goes out of bounds. But some nice power on that cross-court hit. So Spartans on the board now as Harris will go back to serve. Solid service up to Ava Grieve. Maddie Chisholm puts it up. Natalie Bernard elects to send that gently over, but it's kept alive by Robinson. Here's Grant sending. Chisholm back to Bernard. This time past the defensive Summers and falls untouched into the second row. Lakers got the ball back. They're up 7-1 here in the early going. Here's Maddie Chisholm. Ball falls down. And it will be the Spartans serving now, as we actually do have Grant this time, wearing number 3. Hannah Mason tries to field that over to Maddie Chisholm. Ball goes further out of reach than she had expected. And here's Grant again now. Looking to bite into this 4-point lead. There's Haley Messer, puts it up for Maddie Chisholm, looking for Mason again. And that goes just out of bounds. Good call by the Spartans. I don't know if I would have made that call. But they did, and it paid off. Here's Grant again on a nice little run. Looking to score her third service point, I believe. Alice McDonald keeps it alive to Haley Messer. Ava Grieve on the third hit. Here's Robinson looking for a teammate. Sends that over. Nice placement by Robinson. And Spartans trail by 2 now. Sent up, Ava Grieve. Gets that over to Maddie Chisholm. Natalie Bernard looks for the second row. Nice dig, kept alive by the Spartans, but the response a little too low. And Lakers, who were in danger of letting that nice 6-point lead evaporate, get the ball back with a bit of breathing room. Here's Natalie Bernard, looks to build on this 3-point lead. If you're just joining us, Lakers did take the first set by a score of 25-15. Game was pretty close in the early going, but the Lakers were able to pull away kind of in the mid-game. We'll see if they can do the same here. Not if Kletchion. I'm sorry, I don't think I'm reading the name of number 5 in the green and white correctly. But either way, there's a good service as she looks to tie things up for her visiting Spartans. Nice service. That's over to Haley Messer. Maddie Chisholm puts it up for Riley DeMerchant. Wins a battle up at the front of the net with Summers to send it over. Good block by DeMerchant again. As that falls over to the Spartans, and they're guilty of a 4th hit. Lakers get the ball back. Here's Hannah Mason now. Up 9-7. Ball is up. Nice service. There's an ace. Great placement from Mason. As that falls right beside the defender, Grant. She'll get the ball back. 10-7 is the Lakers' lead. Ball goes up. Kept alive by Grant. 3rd hit from well outside the playable area. Won't quite make it. That was a long way to go for number 8, who might be Choi, I believe. Here's Mason. There it goes. Over to Pole. Sent by Robinson. There's Mason in the back row. Maddie Chisholm putting it up. And Ava Grieve. Nice adjustment. Grieve in a nice position for a hit. Electing instead to send that directly to the back corner. As here's Hannah Mason again on a nice little run. For another one. Service is good. Robinson can't quite corral it. Hannah Mason with a very intricate service, pre-service routine, but it looks to be paying off. She's on a nice, I believe at least a 4-point run, as we do have a timeout called by coaches Dow and Summers of the Spartans as they look to chat. So Hannah, anything you've noticed about this second set so far?
I've seen that the Spartans have been catching up to the Lakers, and it's kind of a bit slow what they're doing, so I think they should go a little faster and more energy, like I said before. Yep. Unfortunately, we haven't had too many of those nice extended rallies. Spartans have had trouble fielding a lot of these Lakers services. We saw it early with Grieve to start the match, and now we're seeing it again with Hannah Mason, as she's on, I believe, a 3 or 4 point run at least. Anything the Lakers can do to play better coming out of the timeout? I think that they would have to play fair, and yeah.
Okay, we'll keep an eye open for that. Thank you very much, Hannah. As we go from one Hannah to another, Hannah Finney up here in the booth, down to Hannah Mason, who will look to resume her service run. There it is. Ball is up, nicely done. That is fielded by the Spartans, but I guess there was a double hit there. Head referee John Hamilton and his colleague across the way making that call. So now it's the Lakers scoring first off the timeout. Looks like the Spartans are 1-1 in terms of drawing first blood coming off those timeouts. Mason switching up her direction, electing to send it cross court to Grant this time. Coach Dave Summers giving some girls some reminders of coverage. Spartans are playing very far back. No one in front of the halfway line. We'll see if this coverage adjustment will be enough. Robinson does serve it. There we go. They look to field, but just can't quite get there in time. Spartans having trouble putting it up high enough, I think, on that last point. Here's Mason again. Longest service run of the night for either squad. Nice service. Fielded by Summers. Choi keeps it alive. Third hit just falls short. Noble effort by the Spartans. Choi playing that from almost in the hallway. And Pole did send it in the right direction, but just couldn't clear the net. So Lakers have again opened up a large lead here in the midway point of this second set. They're up 18-7 as they look to close out set number 2. They did take set number 1 by a score of 25-15, so a win here would put them firmly in the driver's seat when it comes to the final results of tonight's action. Here's Mason again. Nice service. Nicely fielded by Choi. Good set by Kletchian. And the hit from Pole will send it over. Here's Ava Grieve looking to respond. Bit of a scramble there at the net front. And Spartans might have gone away with 4 touches there. But ultimately it was the Lakers with that 4th touch. As Spartans pulled within 10. And now it is Summers with a nice service routine of her own. We'll see if the Spartans can respond. That's a good start. This catches Maddie Chisholm a little bit off guard. I believe this is Summers' first attempts from the service line tonight. Off to a good start as the girls readjust their defensive positions. Or offensive positions, I guess, since it's the Spartans with the ball. Either way, everyone's in position. We get the whistle. And here's a service from Summers. Haley Messer with a nice dig, keeping that alive. Riley DeMerchant setting things up for Ava Grieve, but we have an infraction. I didn't see the actual call. I just know it's going the Spartans' way. Might have been a net touch. There was some play there at the front of the net. Either way, Spartans take the point. That service low, though, so Lakers do get the ball back in short order. Here's Alice McDonald. Team up 19-10. As she looks to put the finishing touches on this set. There's a good serve. Harris fielding. Over to Kletchian. Back to Harris, but Hannah Mason is there. Maddie Chisholm, and yes, we do have a net touch. It is the floor referee making that initial call. So that's where the hand signal is. We'll keep an eye on him as the game goes on. Here's Robinson back to serve for the visitors. Nice service. Hannah Mason's there. Haley Messer from the back row. Ava Grieve has to send it on that third hit. Choi keeping it alive and just a little too close to the net for the Spartans to play. So Lakers up 20-11. Riley DeMerchant back to serve now. Ball is up. And that's captured by Harris. Number 5 sends it over, but here's Maddie Chisholm for Ava Grieve. Grieve with a nice hit. Spartans got hands on it, though. So there's a good hit from Robinson in the back row. Hannah Mason keeps it alive to Riley DeMerchant. Ava Grieve with the third hit. But Spartans have set up Harris. Riley DeMerchant keeping it alive. Natalie Bernard over to Ava Grieve. Spartans one-handed trying to keep that in play. Just can't quite direct it back to their teammate. And so after a nice extended rally, a bit more energy here, which is nice. Just direct response from the Spartans. Maddie Chisholm looks to set up Ava Grieve for another hit. She's on a bit of a run with a few of those. As Lakers take the point, they've doubled up their opponents. 22-11 is the score here in the late stages of the second set, rather. Harris putting it up, and Pole with a cross-court hit. There's Riley DeMerchant from the back row to Alice McDonald. Hannah Mason sends it over. Harris diving to make that play, keep it alive. It's Hannah Mason getting low to keep it up. There's Maddie Chisholm to Ava Grieve. This time Grieve doesn't quite get the angle right. That will fall out of bounds. As Spartans off the bench, supporting their teammates, getting that higher energy from both squads now. So looks like referees just confirming the rotation order. Pole waiting to serve. She did start the service tonight, I believe. This is her first time back there again, so yes, we are just starting the second run through the service order. There's Pole, gets it over to Haley Messer. Maddie Chisholm putting it up for Ava Grieve looking cross court. Nice placement for Grieve, just out of reach of the back row defenders. So with 2 more points to take this second set, Ava Grieve will go back to serve for the Lakers. Ball is up. It's a nice service kept alive by Robinson. Set by the Spartans, and Grant will send it over, but Natalie Bernard puts it up for Maddie Chisholm. Looks to Hannah Mason looking cross court. Third hit from Choi in the back row. Nice work by the Spartans. Alice McDonald makes some contact, but that will go out of bounds. That was a great scramble from the Spartans to keep that alive. As we've got Harris back to serve. Good service, Haley Messer. Sends that to the front of the net. Good net front play for the Lakers. Maddie Chisholm and Natalie Bernard kept that alive. Might have been admiring their handiwork a bit too much as Summers is there to respond. Direct hit from the Spartans. We get a little support from the crowd. Could use a little more of that. There's Ava Grieve over to Maddie Chisholm. Natalie Bernard will send it over. Kept alive by Pole. Grant with the hit, but Alice McDonald is there. Ava Grieve puts it up, and Natalie Bernard with a third hit sends it to the back row. Kept alive by Pole. Nice misdirection from the Spartan service. Girls were not expecting that to come over on the second hit. Put it between a few defenders. So Harris on a bit of a run. Her team down by 8 now. Alice McDonald, nice pass over to Maddie Chisholm. Gets Natalie Bernard for a nice hit. Bernard sends it over, but, oh no. Never mind, I thought I saw the ref's hand going in the other direction, but I guess not. 24-15, we've got set point here on the hands of Maddie Chisholm. I'll have to wait a little while longer as that serve catches the top of the net. Here's Grant. Looking to serve. Good service from Grant, fielded by Grieve. To Chisholm, over to Bernard for a nice hit, but Grant able to field it. However, no Spartans in sight. And so with a slightly closer score of 25-16, we have the end of this second set. Congratulations to the Lakers who have taken the first 2, put themselves firmly in the driver's seat. We'll see how this third set plays out in just a moment. Big thanks yet again to everyone who's been helping out tonight. Behind the scenes, we do have Logan Wall, Austin Jameson, and Tiana Arnold working various machines and apparatus here on the streaming service. Big thanks as well to Alice Vautour and Maddie Fraser-Cole working the minor officials table, and our referees as well, John Hamilton and our unnamed referee working the court side. Coaches Katie Dow and Dave Summers of the visiting Spartans are going to go over things in this must-win situation for the visitors, while coaches Tracy Messer and Tammy DeMerchant of our hometown Lakers are going to give the girls some advice on how to close this one out. Joined again here in the booth by Hannah Finney. Hannah, how did you like that second set?
I think it was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm. Anything in particular you really enjoyed, or?
I like how they have like good serves and they played well.
Yeah, definitely. Any players standing out to you so far tonight on either side?
Not that I know of.
Okay, we'll keep our eyes open. It's been a good team effort from both squads for sure. And so we'll keep an eye on that as the game goes on. But yeah, as we mentioned, Lakers with their third game in 3 nights definitely needed to have a full team affair to make sure fatigue didn't wear folks down too much. So I imagine coaches Messer and DeMerchant have been rotating their bench fairly regularly throughout the previous couple of games. What are you excited for in this third upcoming set, Hannah?
I'm excited for like the spirit that they're doing, and then like their and the good playing, and yeah, good serves and a good game.
Awesome. Yeah, we hope for a good game for sure. There have been some good rallies from both sides, but unfortunately for the Spartans faithful, it has been mostly the Lakers in the driver's seat on the scoreboard. We'll see if that's how it plays out. Thanks again, Hannah. As we get ready to, or the girls get ready rather, to take the court. There's Haley Messer checking in to the back row in her libero position. She's joined on the court by Ava Grieve, Lauren Haley, Lauren Peasy, Natalie Bernard, and Madison Chisholm. On the court for the Spartans, it will be number 11, Nodine, number 2, Moffat, number 7, Summers, number 4, Scullion, number 6, Harris, and I believe that is the libero, Choi. On our roster, she's listed as 12. It is hard to see, but her jersey is mostly black as opposed to mostly green, so I guess that is technically a libero jersey. We have seen her mostly in the back row doing a good job of keeping things alive. Ava Grieve, a couple of points to start off this third set. Great start for the Lakers, as she was first to serve in the second set as well. Had a bit of a run and catches Lauren Peasy in the back of the head there. The girls laugh it off as it will be Summers getting the ball for the Spartans. There's Summers with a nice serve, kept alive by Haley Messer. Ava Grieve sending it back to Maddie Chisholm, who keeps it alive. There's Dickinson. Up, over for the hit from Moffat, but Peasy is there. Chisholm back to Peasy, looks cross court. Nice angle from Peasy. Had Hartland and Nodine up close, so elected to send it sharply over their outstretched arms and right towards the middle of the court. Good eye by the sophomore. There's Maddie Chisholm's serve. That will catch the top of the net and fall out. So the Spartans record a point, and it will be Moffat back to serve. Her team down by 1, looking to tie things up in the early going. As Lauren Haley gets it over to Maddie Chisholm. Lauren Peasy sends it to the back row, kept alive nicely by Moffat. Nodine puts it up, and Hartland sends it to the back row. Haley Messer gets it up to Maddie Chisholm. Good hit by Natalie Bernard, but it is kept alive by Moffat. Diving play from Grieve, helped over the net by Chisholm. Good work by the Lakers. There's Scullion, who sends it to the back row. Haley Messer gets there in time, but just can't quite get the angle right. And so it is the Spartans tying things up after our best rally of this third set. There's another service from Moffat, looking to take the lead now. Not if Lauren Peasy has anything to say about that. Set up by Nodine, but Lauren Haley keeps it alive. Chisholm to Bernard. Kept alive by Scullion. Nodine looking for Hartland. There's Messer keeping it alive. Another hit from Bernard, but Dickinson is there. Nodine back to Dickinson, looks cross court. Ava Grieve, the pass. That was within range of Maddie Fraser-Cole, but she unfortunately has other priorities working the scorer's table. Maddie Chisholm couldn't quite get there in time. So it's the Spartans with their first lead in quite a while. Played Lauren Haley over to Maddie Chisholm, back to Lauren Haley. Chisholm again sends it over. Here's Grieve up to Chisholm. Natalie Bernard with the hit. Gets by Hartland, but the Spartans pinball that around and send it over. Lakers will try again. Here's Lauren Peasy with a big hit. Elects to go short side. And Choi from the libero position can't quite get there in time. So all tied up at 4. Spartans keeping pace here in the early going. Here's Natalie Bernard with the service to Dickinson, over to Nodine, back to Dickinson, but Bernard from the back row is there. Maddie Chisholm puts it up, and Lauren Peasy looks for a hit. That one just touches the line, but falls within the playable area. So Lakers will record the point. Here's Bernard again, looking to build on this lead. Sends it over to Dickinson. Nodine puts it up. Nice back set for Hartland, but Lauren Haley is there to respond. Riley DeMerchant over to Maddie Chisholm. To DeMerchant again for a nice hit. Good diving play by Moffat. As we've got a whistle. There's a double hit there by the Spartans. So Lakers up by 2 now. As Bernard looks to extend this lead. Ball is up and over. There's Scullion in the back row. Nodine electing to send it over. Nodine in the setter's position, but a nice bit of misdirection there. As she finds a gap in the Lakers' defenses, pulls her team to within 1. Now she'll get a chance to tie it up with a good service. Here's Nodine. Over to Messer. Maddie Chisholm gets it to Riley DeMerchant, who sends it over. Scullion, as Heartland wins that net front battle, but the Lakers keep it alive. Nice hit by Lauren Peasy. Falls just far enough to be out of reach for the defender, but just close enough to be considered in bounds. Peasy with the service now. As that ball goes up. Fielded by Dickinson, over to Nodine, back to Dickinson. Lauren Haley, diving play to keep that alive, but unfortunately, no one there to play it. That was made some contact, but a pretty low ball. You have to get very low to play that successfully. Here's Heartland now. So the ball goes up. It's out of bounds. Smart call by the Lakers. They let that go out of bounds as Alice Vautour flips another one over on the Lakers side, and Maddie Chisholm checks the appropriate box. Here's Lauren Haley with the service. Dickinson to Nodine. Summers will have a nice hit, but Haley Messer is there. Maddie Chisholm over to Ava Grieve. Grieve finds a hole in the back row. Choi can't get there in time. And so Lakers up 9-6 now. Haley again with the service. Up by 3 in the third set. If you're just joining us, Lakers took the first two by scores of 25-15 and 25-16 respectively. So looking to assure themselves a victory tonight. Spartans looking to stay alive. Riley DeMerchant gets that over on the third hit, and the Spartans can't quite corral it. It is the Lakers hitting double digits first. Score of 6-10. As here's Lauren again. That's set up by Scullion to Nodine. Big hit from Summers, but can't quite clear the net. If she had, Riley DeMerchant was there with height, so might not have made it over in the first place. But either way, Lakers get the point and get another service. Scullion to Nodine. Back to Summers. This time she sends it well. Lauren Haley over to Madison Chisholm, and Ava Grieve set up nicely for a big hit. Powered past the Spartans' defense. Girls get some energy from that one as we hear some energy from the bench as well. Sounds like we got a good mix of home and away fans underneath as Summers has been set up for a few nice hits and gets a good one there. Nicely dropped in the back corner. A lot of strength, a lot of speed, a lot of power. And it is 7-12 as Dickinson gets ready to serve. Ball is up and over. Haley Messer to Lauren Peasy, and Ava Grieve will send it over on the third hit. That's kept alive by Choi. Nodine setting up Summers again. Smart call by Peasy, I believe. Let that go out of bounds. Summers has had some strong hits, but she made that hit from much closer to the middle of the court. Traveled a little too far. There's Summers with the direct response. Maddie Chisholm keeps it alive. Lauren Haley, but we've got a double touch on the Lakers side. And the ball rolls back to the Spartans as DeMerchant checks out and Messer checks in to the back row. Here's Scullion now. Ball is up and over for the Spartans. That kind of skims around there, catches both of our Laurens and no one else as it rolls quickly out of bounds. So good first serve by the Spartans. They'll look to get a few more here, bite into this lead. Here's Scullion again. Lauren Haley over to Natalie Bernard, and Madison Chisholm sends it over on the third hit. Kept alive by Scullion, set up for a hit from Summers. Bit of a miscommunication there. That was a playable ball for the Lakers. But Scullion caught him by, Summers rather, caught them by surprise. And the Spartans just down by 3 now. Scullion looking to cut further into that lead, but that will go out of bounds. Ava Grieve lets that sail by. She will collect the ball for a service. So we've been all around the service order once so far. Lakers up 14-10. They'll look to extend the lead now on Greaves serves again. Dickinson to Nodine, and that's Scullion from the back row sending it over. Greaves directs it to Chisholm as Bernard send it over. Good work from Peasy and Bernard keeping that alive. Ava Greaves on the third hit. Summers gets it to Haley Messer on the other end. There's Peasy looking cross court as we have a net touch, I believe, on the Spartans. 15-10 is your score now as Ava Greaves gets ready to serve. Nice service from Greaves. I think Choi thought that was going out as she might have been in the vicinity to dive there, but let it fall. Here's Greaves again. Another nice low serve. Dickinson's got to dive to make contact and can't quite direct it. Get some tips from Dave Summers on the Spartan sideline. Let's see if that pays off. There's Moffat up to Nodine, and Summers with the cross-court hit. Natalie Bernard setting up for Maddie Chisholm. Bit of a role reversal for the Lakers. Here's Summers. No role reversal there. She's been one of the top hitters for the Spartans all night. Lauren Peasy responding, but Dickinson keeps it alive. Moffat looked to send it over, but Natalie Bernard goes up with height. She'll get the block there. It's Lakers up by 8 now. 10-8 is your score. Ava Greaves on this nice 4-point service run. Nodine puts it up for Summers, who gets the timing wrong, as that will bounce under the net, and the Lakers extend their lead. It's Greaves again. Ball sneaks just over. Dickinson diving to make contacts, but friendly faces can't quite get there in time, so Lakers have doubled up their opponents. They do look in command to assure themselves the victory. Still got some volleyball left to play before we can say that for sure, though, as the Spartans send it over. Here's Messer. Gets it to Maddie Chisholm. Lauren Peasy looks cross-court. Nice play by Dickinson. Good dig, keeping that alive. Here's Peasy, looks to try again. Changes up the angle and finds a softer spot. Nice work by Peasy with that adjustment. So Lakers take that, and the Spartans will stand. Here's Greaves again. That sneaks over. Dickinson keeps it alive. Nodine puts it up, and Summers will get that hit. Greaves to Bernard. Peasy will set that over. Choi gets it, but we have a whistle, and I believe there was a net touch by the defenders. They've had quite a few of those called on the Spartans, so something to watch out for and adjust as these teams move towards their postseason. Put up by Scullion. Summers keeps it alive, and Nodine will send it. There's Ava Greaves to Maddie Chisholm. Lauren Peasy with the hit. Dickinson is there cross court. Moffat puts it up, and Choi will send that over. Ava Greaves with a nice direct response. Here's Summers up to Nodine. Summers again opting for the gentle touch, but good heads-up play by Maddie Chisholm. Chisholm with the hit now to the back row. That's kept alive by Choi. Nodine puts it up. Summers directing it over. Ava Greaves looks for Maddie Chisholm, and Natalie Bernard finishing things off. Summers got hands on it. Goes to Moffat, kind of spinning awkwardly. Couldn't quite control that. And so after that extended rally, Lakers find themselves 2 points away from victory. Ava Greaves with the ace makes it 1 point. So we have set point Harvey and indeed match point as they have taken the first two and look to take this third in commanding fashion. Here's Ava Greaves. Scullion to Nodine. Summers gets that to Bernard. Greaves will send it over. Summers, good heads-up play, but Bernard is there. Maddie Chisholm on the second hit sends it over. Summers again. Maddie Chisholm puts it up high. Natalie Bernard with the set. Maddie Chisholm puts it over the defenders. Good play by Dickinson. Keeps this one alive. Summers to Haley Messer in the back row. Gets it over to Maddie Chisholm. Natalie Bernard going up for a hit. Wood. That was a big block by Summers, keeping this thing alive. Natalie Bernard did make some contacts on the block, but the ball rolled out of bounds, and so we do have to wait a little while longer. Here's Summers, who sends it into the top of the net, and with that, Lakers take the third set, 25-11. This is their third victory. They have assured themselves the win tonight. Congratulations to the Lakers. We will play the final two sets and have them here on the broadcast, but congratulations to them. 25-11, again, is your final score. All right, joined again by Hannah Finney. Hannah, how'd you like that third set?
I liked it really well, and I like how the Lakers, have more points than the Spartans, but at least they're trying, and they're doing well, and then calling it out pretty good, too. So.
Yep, good effort from both teams, and we do hear some communication going on down there. I know if Charlie Gregory were here, one of the things he'd point out would be more communication, always an important tip for these players. All right, so we are going to play the next two sets, even though the Lakers have locked up the victory. So more for entertainment value. Hannah, what do you want to see in these fourth and fifth sets where the result isn't quite as important? Are you looking for anything in particular to just be entertained here tonight?
Probably more energy and to have a good game.
Yeah. Definitely some energy would be good. The Lakers are starting to pick things up, usually off a big hit or a big block, I found. That kind of helps get them going, but something we could stand to hear. Often we can hear the girls quite clearly up here in the skybox, and there's a lot of volume. As we did mention, girls pretty much running on fumes here as they are finishing up their third game in 3 nights. So they might not have quite as much energy or volume as they would have earlier in the week, but either way, still playing very well as we see the Spartans take the court. Any last words, Hannah, before we watch this fourth set?
I hope they have a good game, and we'll hope to see what goes on.
Yeah, agreed. Thank you very much, Hannah, as we see the girls take the court, and it looks to be the same lineup that started things off in the same order as well, I believe, that started the second set, rather. We've got Mason, McDonald, and DeMerchant in the back row. Grieve, Chisholm, and Bernard up front, although Haley Messer is waiting patiently, and I believe once the lineup rotation is confirmed, she will be checking into that back row. On the court for the Spartans, it is Robinson, Harris, number 5, whose name I apologize, is Kleckrum potentially. And then up front, we've got Grant, Hartland, and Pohl. And yes, indeed, it is Haley Messer coming into the back row for Riley DeMerchant. It will be Robinson starting things off to serve for the Spartans as we get ready for this fourth set. Ball goes up. Haley Messer is there. Natalie Bernard will set that up. She might be playing the setter's position tonight, although Maddie Chisholm gets it back to her, so maybe not. Girl showing off some versatility, which is something you always like to see here in these fourth and fifth sets. Ava Grieve with a big hit. That looks like it might have fallen out of bounds, but it was a close call either way. This one goes the Lakers' way, though, as they score first. Referee is John Hamilton, and his partner have been at this way longer than I have, so we will certainly trust their judgment here on the broadcast. There's a double hit on the Spartan side, so Lakers get another point. Ava Grieve again at the service line. She spent a decent amount of time there so far this evening. It's fielded directly by Hartland. Chisholm sends it right back over. Chisholm again, not bothering with any of this passing nonsense. Looks to score some points and score them early. Nice work by Chisholm. Here's Grieve again. Nice service. That's tipped by the Spartans, but can't quite corral it. As we have flashbacks to the second set where Ava Grieve opened up a 6 or 7 point lead before the Spartans even got on the board. There's another one. Spartans having trouble fielding these serves. 5-0 for the home side. It's Maddie Fraser-Cole and Alice Vautour hold things down at the minor officiating table. This one is fielded by Harris to Pohl to Hartland as Hannah Mason puts that up for Natalie Bernard. Back to Mason. Grant diving for the visitors. can't quite direct that to a teammate. And so after a bit of a rally, Lakers still record the point, and Spartans have yet to get on the board. Here's Grant putting it up. Falls awkwardly at the front of the net. Lakers were there just in case, but it did fall on the Spartan side. So we have a 7-0 lead. Zava Grieve puts the ball up. Heartland over to Natalie Bernard, who sends it back, but good play by the Spartans, keeping it alive. This one's misplayed by the Lakers, and so the Spartans finally get on the board. It will be Pohl back to serve, wearing number 13 for the visitors, and not number 3, as sometimes reported up here. Pohl sending that over. There's Haley Messer. Gets it to Madison Chisholm, who sends it over. We have a net touch on the Lakers side, as we had a couple players from both teams going up at the front of the net. Not quite sure who the guilty party was, but they were wearing green and gold. Here's Dole. Sends it long as... Ooh. Tough break for Haley Messer. She was ready to play that. I heard a couple voices calling out, and she let that one go, but that did fall in. 7-3. So the girls laugh it off. Ball is up. Messer plays this one over to Madison Chisholm, to Natalie Bernard, who catches Robinson, but Spartans do keep it alive. There's Bernard again. That one falls right up against the net on the Lakers side, so really tough to play. Spartans have recorded 4 consecutive points. Here's Pohl on a bit of a service run of her own. Natalie Bernard over to Hannah Mason on that third hit, who angles it nicely. Heartland looking for the direct hit, but Natalie Bernard was there. Gets it to Maddie Chisholm, who sends it over. One-handed kept alive by the Spartans, but we've got a whistle. 4th hit as Spartan comes up. I lost count, but thankfully our referees did not. Here's Maddie Chisholm. Ball is up and over. That's fielded by Heartland. Number 5 gets it to Robinson, who sends it over. Chisholm again. Looking for Bernard. Soft tip, and Hannah Mason is there at the front of the net. Good hit by Mason. Kept alive by the Spartans, though. Grant looking cross court. Haley Messer. A nice dive to keep that alive, but that does go way out of bounds. Might have been playable by our cameraman here, but unfortunately not by anyone wearing green and gold. Here's Heartland now. Ball is up and over, and Alice McDonald will field that over to Hannah Mason, and Maddie Chisholm sends it. It's Robinson. Nice misdirection from the setter for the Spartans. Sending it on the second hit, but the Lakers not asleep. Hannah Mason sends it over, and the Spartans can't quite control it. As we move on in the rotation, Haley Messer takes a break and sends Riley DeMerchant to the front row. Here's Natalie Bernard in the back. Sends it over, and that was nicely placed right behind Harris and right in front of Robinson. As it's always tough to figure out who's going to play those ones, who needs to move where. Here's Bernard. Another, almost in the exact same spot, too. As the Spartans, figure something out, and Dave Summers on the sideline for the Spartans, telling his girls to figure out their assignments there. This one right in the middle, that's played to Pohl. Another nice second hit put over by the Spartans. Riley DeMerchant. There's a little too much mustard on that hit. That will fall out of bounds. 11-6 is your score. Here's Grant. Serving for the Spartans. Hannah Mason gets that over to Maddie Chisholm, and Alice McDonald will send it over. Nice placement by McDonald. Right in that second level of defense, past the net front defenders, but well in front of your back row. Good work. Here's Hannah Mason now. Nice service by Mason. Spartans had trouble with her last time. Let's see what they can do here. And tough break as the Spartans did field that successfully. But the hit from Robinson a little low, catches the top of the net and rebounds on their side. So Mason gets the ball again. 13-6 is your score. Lakers have a nice 7-point lead here. Ball is up and over. There's Hartland over to the setter, but Hannah Mason gets there in time. Chisholm looking for Grieve. Nicely blocked by Harris and Kletchram. As the Lakers, thankfully, kept their heads on their shoulders, able to keep that one alive. Here's Mason with the service. Hartland getting into the front of the net, but can't quite send it over. Lakers score another one. Here's Mason again. Mason with a very elaborate pre-service ritual, but seems to be working for her as she has yet another long service run. 16-6 now, as we've seen that, I believe, 6-point lead balloon to a 10-point lead. Here's Mason again. Solid service. Robinson fielding. Over to Chitron, and Robinson sends it over, but that's fielded by McDonald, Chisholm, and DeMerchant. Here's Pohl up to Robinson. Third hit just gets over, but Riley DeMerchant is there. Maddie Chisholm's going to send it over, but Alice McDonald gets the pass up to Chisholm. Ava Grieve with a nice hit. Robinson keeping it alive. Harris back to Robinson, but Hannah Mason with the nice pass to Chisholm. Another big hit from Grieve. Harris and Kletchram. Sorry, I've got Jacob Chitron on the mind, and I'm definitely saying your name wrong. I apologize, friends and family of number 5 in the green and white. Who's up serving right now? Actually, a very nice serve. Riley DeMerchant with the set, and Ava Grieve has a nice hit. Spartans get some hands on it, but can't quite direct it, so Lakers have regained their 10-point lead. Alice McDonald back to serve. Score is 17-7 in favor of the home side. Over to the Spartans. Nice work pinballing around. Robinson sends it over one-handed, but only to be met by a DeMerchant hit. As Lakers have done really well with their 3 hits setting up. They've got a number of weapons up front. So some nice versatility no matter where they are in the rotation. 18-7. Alice McDonald has another serve. That's fielded by Grant Robinson. Over to Harris, who sends it out of bounds. And the Lakers rack up another one. Here's McDonald again. Good service. Harris over to Kletchron as Maddie Chisholm keeps it alive. Third hit from McDonald will not clear the net as Lakers caught scrambling a little bit on that one. Here's Harris back to serve. Ball is up and just out of reach of the defense. Nice placement by Harris. 19-9 is your score. Ball is up. Alice McDonald gets that over to Maddie Chisholm, and Ava Grieve will send it over. Harris can't get there in time, and so it is the Lakers who hit 21st as Haley Messer checks out and Natalie Bernard checks in up in the front row. Ball is up by Riley DeMerchant. Robinson will field that over to Hartland, who sends it over. Alice McDonald to Hannah Mason. Ava Grieve volleying into the second row. Hit from Pohl looking for the back corner. Overshoots a little. Riley DeMerchant will let that go as she collects the ball for another service. 21-9 in favor of the Lakers. Who have been fairly solidly in control for most of these sets. They start off pretty close, but the Lakers inevitably have pulled away in each and every one. They won the first one by a score of 25-15 second by a score of 25-16, and the third and deciding set by a score of 25-11. 22-10 is your score, so heading towards a similar result, although there is still some volleyball left to play. Robinson in the back row. She started us off in this service order. As that goes over, there's McDonald and Mason. And come together to play that one. And that goes out of bounds. So 22-11. So Robinson will get another one. Ball is up and over. Haley Messer sends that to the front of the net, but caught in an awkward spot. Natalie Bernard ends up guilty of a double hit there. As Robinson again looks to start biting into this lead. It won't happen here, though, as that will catch the top of the net and bounce out. It's Ava Grieve with the ball on her hand. 23-12. Here's Grieve with a nice service, fielded by Pohl. Over to Chitrorn, and that one will sneak over. Hannah Mason couldn't quite get there in time. Nice play by the Spartans to extend this and get a very dangerous server in the Lakers. Grieve out of position. Here's Pohl looking to capitalize on this. Grieve keeps it alive to Maddie Chisholm. Natalie Bernard going up for the hit. Robinson will keep it alive. Bernard with the direct response, but that's back to Harris. Here's Grant, finds Alice McDonald. Maddie Chisholm's going to put that up. Big hit there from Bernard, but that's blocked nicely by Heartland. Spartans have, they've been trailing for most of this game, but they have done very well at the net front, especially this past set. Quite a few big blocks coming from a variety of players lately for the Spartans. Natalie Bernard looks to get it by. Sends it a little wide this time, so can't send it tight, can't send it too wide. Got to find that sweet spot. Spartans have bit into this 12-point lead. It is now an 8-point lead for the Lakers. That service is out of bounds, as that will bring up set point for the Lakers. Maddie Chisholm with the ball on her hand. 24-15 is your score in favor of the Lakers. So Maddie Chisholm will put that up and over. Heartland will field it. Natalie Bernard with the direct response, but Heartland is there. Heartland again, and with that, there's a fourth hit by the, or well, not a fourth hit, but that falls on the Spartan side. And the Lakers have that one by a score of 25-15. Congratulations, as they will not be switching sides. These are exhibition sets now that the Lakers have assured themselves, or after the Lakers have ensured themselves the victory. Not sure if they're playing to 25 or to 15, but we'll find out as we come back to Hannah Finney. Hannah, how did you like that fourth set?
I liked it really well.
Mm-hmm. Anything in particular?
Well, the Lakers are doing really good, and the Spartans are trying, and they have like that calling it out. And yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing we see for sure. So even though the Lakers had won the match rather by the time the set had started, Spartans still played hard out there, which is something you always want to see. And Lakers not taking their foot off the gas in response, but that's always, of course, in the spirit of good competition. So you like to see that from both sides. Girls diving to make the plays, giving it their all, something you like to see. All right, in this fifth and final set, is there anything you're looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to like having more energy, and that's all I got.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Hannah. We'll look forward to that as well, as referee John Hamilton will call the girls back to their positions. Coaches Tracy Messer and Tammy DeMerchant should be very pleased with their girls so far this evening as they send them back out. Coaches Dow and Summers staying positive as well as the girls get their lineups figured out. On both sides, actually, I think we have the more or less the starting lineups, the same lineups we had to start the fifth set. Or sorry, the first set, rather. This is the fifth set. It will be Ava Grieve starting off the service. Not sure if we're playing a 15 or 25, but we'll keep you informed depending on how things go. Here's Grieve. She's joined on the court by Lauren Haley, Natalie Bernard, Maddie Chisholm, Lauren Peasy, and Haley Messer wearing the black and gold. Here's Natalie Bernard looking for a big hit. Nicely done. I believe Heartland might have gotten some hands on it, but it fell into the second level past the Spartans defenders. And it is the Lakers striking first here in this fifth and final set tonight. Alice Vautour flips that ball over as Maddie Fraser-Cole puts the finishing touches on this score sheet. Big thanks to both of those minor officials tonight. Here's Lauren Peasy looking in the back row. Choi gets contact, but sends it into the ceiling. So that will not score for the Spartans. Lakers up 2-0. As here's Ava Grieve. Grieve sends it. Nice diving play by Heartland with a direct response. Here's Natalie Bernard over to Lauren Peasy, sends it back row. Dickinson fields that. Over to Moffat, who sends it cross court. It's Lauren Peasy looking to send it down tight. Can't quite get past the hands of Heartland. Heartland had a couple nice blocks in that fourth set, picking up where she left off as she puts the Spartans on the board. Here's Scullion looking to tie things up in the early going of this fifth set, rather. Maddie Chisholm will get the ball now. 3-1 is your score in favor of the Lakers here in the early going. Ball up by Chisholm. That will fall a little short. And so the ball goes back to the Spartans. Heartland will try to tie things up for her girls now. There's the ball as Haley Messer puts that up, and that's tight to the front of the net, but Maddie Chisholm and Natalie Bernard keep it alive. Good heads-up play. Lauren Haley gets it over to Maddie Chisholm for a hit from Ava Grieve. Spartans have it alive, though. Nodine, typically in the setter's position, has to do the third hit there. Nice hit by Bernard, but that's kept alive nicely by Moffat. Tough break as both teams kind of kept that alive when we thought that might have been over. Ultimately, it is the Lakers who score, as Dickinson's back row hit will fall just out of bounds. 4-2 is your score as Natalie Bernard gets ready to serve. Sent to Summers. Riley to Merchant. Nice response at the front of the net. She was there, picked her spot, and sent it. 5-2 is your score now. There's Bernard. Finds the sideline and the right side of it as well. As I think Dickinson realized right at the last minute that wasn't going out. By then it was too late. Lakers have the point. They're up 6-2. Here's Bernard again. Ball is up. There's Dickinson putting it up. Scullion on the second hit. Summers looks to send it cross court. Lauren Peasy keeps that alive, though. Chisholm back to Peasy, who finds Dickinson in the back row. A little low for the Spartans to play. We have a lift from down there, but either way, that third hit was not going over. It is the Lakers who get the point. Natalie Bernard on a nice little run. Scullion controlling. Nodine puts it up. Summers will hit, but Lauren Haley gets a hand on it. Can't quite send it up. Sends it under the net instead, which I'm told you're not supposed to do. So it is the Spartans who get the ball. Here's Moffat wearing number 2 for the green and white. Back to serve. Gets that to Ava Grieve. Maddie Chisholm sends it over on the second hit, and Dickinson mistiming the jump. Made contact, but that catches the top of the net. And so Lakers get the ball. Here's Lauren Peasy now, as we have a lineup change. Don't usually see this from the Lakers, as Alice McDonald checking in for Lauren Haley. And Hannah Mason checking in for Lauren Peasy. Hannah Mason getting the ball to serve. She's only had 2 serving runs tonight just because of her position in the rotation, but both have been very successful. We'll see if she can do this the third time as well. 8-3, Lakers lead. So that's mishandled by Dickinson, sent out of bounds, and Lakers take the point. Here's Mason again. Ball's up and over. That will fall out of bounds, though. Smart play by Dickinson, letting that go out. As the Lakers reset, here's Nodine, or Nodine, wearing number 11, typically up in the setter's position, so we'll look to see them reposition after this serve. There's Maddie Chisholm over to Ava Grieve. Back to Chisholm, who sends it over. Summers to Nodine, setting up again. And there's a hit from Dickinson. That will fall inbounds, though, as referee John Hamilton and his colleague on the floor make that call. It was a close one. Ultimately falls the Spartans' way. They trail by 4. Here's Nodine again. That unfortunately falls inbounds. Someone called it out. And Maddie Chisholm let that one go. So we get some encouragement from the stands now. Lakers letting the Spartans back into this thing. Score is Lakers 9, Spartans 6. As Nodine looks to bite into that. There's Messer, getting it over to Hannah Mason. Riley DeMerchant on the third sit, sends it back to Choi. Spartans libero. Summers with a big hit, but Messer keeps it alive. Nice work by DeMerchant at the front of the net. But Spartans keep it up, and Summers ultimately finds a nice spot to put that down. 9-7 is your score now. Nodine on a bit of a run. Service is up by Nodine. Hannah Mason passing up over to Riley DeMerchant, who looks for Ava Grieve. Girls can't get the timing quite right, and ultimately Grieve guilty of a double hit. So here's Nodine looking to tie things up. Not sure if it's a 15 or a 25-point set, but either way, good to see it stand close here in the early going. Nice work by Ava Grieve. Set that over behind her as the Spartans send that out of bounds to the Lakers side. And it will be the Lakers scoring the point. Should be 10-8, I believe, is the score. Alice McDonald getting ready to serve. Ball's up and over. There's Dickinson over to Nodine, who puts it up. Summers, guilty of a double hit there. Yep. It's that telltale spin of the ball that Coach Fletcher has told us to keep an eye out on. If that ball is spinning, it means those hands did not touch it simultaneously. Good call by the referees. Alice McDonald with another serve. Ball's up by Nodine, but again, we have a double hit. That one a little less obvious to me up in the booth, so good work by the refs keeping their eyes open. Not sure if they do a penalty count in volleyball, but Lakers definitely coming out ahead when it comes to infractions called tonight. Net contact has been an issue for the Spartans, as have those double hits. Here's Summers with a nice serve. That will fall just out of bounds, I guess. Tough for us to see up here in the booth, but tough break for Summers as well. Here's Riley DeMerchant from the back row, the lone grade 9 student on the Lakers roster. Dickinson sends that over, but Natalie Bernard is there. Chisholm back to Bernard. Finds Moffat in the back row, who can't quite get the angle right. And Lakers will get the point. Here's DeMerchant. This could be set point. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't seem to hear anything indicating it was set point, so... Oh, no, I stand corrected. With a score of 15-9, that was set point, and ultimately it is the Lakers winning all 5 tonight by scores of 25-15, 25-16, 25-11, 25-15, and now 15-9. Hannah Finney, do you have any final thoughts before we call it a night on this broadcast?
I thought the game was really well, and they did a lot of calling out, and so far it was good, and I loved it, so yeah.
Awesome, thanks. Definitely a great way to end the senior girls' regular season. They will be heading to regionals next Saturday, not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday. Not sure where that will be played, but we'll try to keep you informed. Congratulations again to the Lakers and to everyone who's helped out with the broadcast. Alice Vautour and Maddie Fraser-Cole were your minor officials tonight. Big thanks to referees John Hamilton and the other member of his crew. Coaches Katie Dow and Dave Summers did a great job preparing their girls and bringing them up from St. Stephen, so a big thanks to them, as well as the coaches on the Lakers side, Tracy Messer and Tammy DeMerchant. Thanks again to all our support here on the broadcast. Hannah Finney for joining us for some halftime content, as well as our cameraman, Logan Wall, our producer, Austin Jameson, and our scoreboard operator, Tiana Arnold. I've been David White. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll catch you sometime next week for some middle school action. Take care.